Alright, so in this video, I want to talk about something that is, for many people, probably one of the most important things during their lifetime, and it's relationships. But more, I wanna talk about the relationships we have where we eventually get married and we have children. So the girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife relationships. Um, and why is that? If you look at the statistics, you will see that almost half, if not even more than half, of all the marriages end up in divorces. And that means there were two people, they fell in love with each other, they they went through life with each other for whatever amount of time, and eventually they broke up. Maybe because someone did something not really good, or maybe because they kind of grew apart, or maybe because they just didn't feel the same feelings as in the beginning anymore, or whatever. But there are also many relationships that don't even get to the marriage stage, and that's completely normal, and it's all good and great. But if you think, if there are already millions of marriages ending up in jeopardy by divorce, how many million relationships between boyfriend and girlfriends must there be that end up in a breakup? And how many follow-up problems will they create, or how many problems do they bring up during a relationship, or whatever happens during all those relationships that eventually end up after half a year, 2 years, 3 years, that just end up in a breakup. And I know that there are relationships that end good on a good note, and they can still talk to each other, and it's not always the situation where there is harm, or where there is emotional damage, or whatever. um but if you think for a second now about how people behave when they go online and look for a new camera, or wanna go shopping for whatever their new wardrobe they need because they move out, or how they design their houses, and all those things. In all those instances, most of the people, they think a lot, they plan, they look at all the pros and cons, they calculate, they have a second thought about what they want to really do, and if this is not the better model than the other model, or if this is the better option than option one. It can go for months where people just think about something they want to get, and it's most often material things. But if you think now about how all those relationships kind of become a relationship, it's most often led by emotions. Most of the time, people will see a man or girl, or boy or whatever, and they have their first thought. If the person looks really beautiful, they already create an emotion inside of themselves where they see this person as a beautiful person. Then maybe they go on and talk to this person. Maybe the person is funny, maybe they kind of understand each other, maybe they have some same interest between them, and they go on a date, or they just see them selves regularly because they work in the same building, or they go to the same university, or whatever. And in some cases, it takes a month, or it takes 2 months, or 3 months, or 4 months. But none of those, or the least of those people, kind of dig deep. They don't ask the hurtful questions. They don't really test the pros and cons, because they know it's something fragile, and they know that the opposite person could be embarrassed about something, or they could react angry, or they could be upset if you ask them something that in essence is really important. So we end up in relationships through emotions, through same interests, through good times, through enjoying each other, through whatever. It it's always nice when people find someone else that kind of matches them, and they have a good energy between themselves. But if you don't really think about or talk about to each other about your weaknesses, or what your normal pattern of behaving is, or how you grew up, or how you deal with different situations, or how you kind of think about different topics that are happening in the world. And I mean truly talking to each other. And I know that there are people who practice getting to know each other like this. And I know that there are people who think, yeah, that's normal. I always kind of get to know someone this way because I'm at a certain age, and I don't want to waste my time anymore, or whatever. But if you think in the earlier age, that that is kind of considered as weird, or as already too mature, or not enjoying life enough, or not kind of giving someone else space. If you ask them how they kind of structure their day, they could already think, oh my gosh, what a creep, you want to control something or whatever. In the end, it's nothing like that. It's more to really understand the individual that you are creating feelings for, because of a physical appearance, because of a behavement in a certain situation, or in a certain surrounding. But you kind of have to understand the full picture to really determine if this is a person you want to engage with your world of feelings as well. Because if you get in a relationship, your emotions are at a level they're normally not when you're not in a relationship, because yeah, it's something different. It makes something with you. um so it's kind of not really logical that we are more meticulous with online shopping, or real life shopping, or looking up our vacation route, and which restaurant we should go and which one we shouldn't go because of the ratings and all of that. If the most valuable and most important thing, the time we spend with someone else, or yeah, with in a relationship or creating a family, we treat like a precious little thing that we have to cherish, and we do have to work on it, and so on and so forth. But it should be a standard that people really talk to each other, and that people tell the opposite. If they, for example, go to the gym 4 times a week, and that means only 3 days they're at home in the evening or in the morning, or whatever, and could have chill time, and they really want to do that, but the opposite kind of hints towards, yeah, I like sports, but I'm not that active in sports. You should not you should not lower the impact this little difference already can have. Or if someone says to you, oh yeah, I really love going out, I love festivals and I love this and that, and you from your perspective, you you don't dislike those things, but you don't really like big groups of people, so you wouldn't really engage in this, but you kind of wanna because you're creating something special with someone. So you maybe will end up in a situation where you are in discomfort, but you endure this discomfort to cherish your relationship, but you can't for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So eventually your behaving will change accordingly to kind of getting out of the whole situation, and so on. So I think this video is kind of up and down and whatever, but I just thought about this while I was cooking, and I think it's kind of important that we understand that we have to understand the opposite person to a complete level to kind of really emerge our emotions with the person from where you think you want to receive the emotions as well, and not just because she looks pretty, she's the cool girl, or she has big bunda, or she whatever, or he is the coolest guy, he has the big abs or big biceps, or he's the leader of the football team. I don't know, man. In today's world, it's, I mean, you could call so many people, they are just human objects, and I think all those people wouldn't agree with that, but they don't really realize what they are doing. So it would be awesome if anyone watches this far, if you could share your perspective on relationships, or how you think people should interact with each other, so not nearly 60% of the marriages end up in divorce, or nearly, I don't know, 80% of all the relationships that were created ended up in breakup. I mean, imagine just how much time, I don't want, yeah, it's and how many emotions, hurt and all those, it could all be prevented by just being real, as I already talked about in a different video. And so that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this little rambling about how you can create a successful relationship by just being who you are and telling who you are, and not want to create something to preserve a higher good, or whatever you think about this relationship should be your, yeah. And as always, peace.